It's the Orioles on Masson, and a very special day at Camden Yards as the Orioles come back with a 1-2 mark from Tampa Bay for the home opener. And all of the excitement that comes with it, and we are ready to go from Camden Yards. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne, and welcome. And here we go. For the Orioles, some pretty impressive games. Even though they won only one against Tampa Bay, they got the job done in the pitching department. Dave Tremblay said, we pitch like that, and we are going to be just fine. The Orioles have won 8 of their last 9 home openers. They'll try and extend that with a 9th win today. And they need to do that because the home and road record for the Orioles last year shows how important it is to win here. They were not even 500 at home, and on the road had real problems. So to get to that 500 mark, the Orioles have got to take advantage of this home field. They've got the better average here, the runs here, and the home runs here. The problem is the bottom line with the ERA. That's got to be a little bit better to win. We are delighted to welcome back, as part of the Masson family, Mike Flanagan. The crafty lefty is back to do some TV work with us. It is great to have you back on board.
I appreciate that, Gary. Thanks.
Talk about that home field advantage for the Orioles.
It really is. It's impressive. They hit almost 50 points higher at home. They hit, I think, 90 home runs at home, 30 more than they hit on the road. And amazingly, they pitch much better at home. So it really is. It's a combination of both. It's the reason they were so close to 500 at home is that ERA.
And Mike, you want that magic in your home yard. I mean, every ball club does, and the Orioles for so many years had it. Now they've got to get it back.
You want to play better on the road than they played last year, but you know the home field advantage needs to be here for the Orioles.
And we are going to see Brad Bergesen make a start. Mike will talk about him and hope he can continue his mark at home, because last year this is where he won all 7 of his games. Oriole baseball coming up.
We brought up a lot of players at a young particular point in time in their career. We've allowed them to develop here. I know the people want to win here. I know they're not satisfied. Everybody's tired of the losing. No one wants to hear the same song and dance story again. I think the people here are very intuitive. They support loyalty, honesty, and we know that we have to hold up our part of the deal on that.
Dave Tremblay talking to the press prior to this home opener. Very excited about it, despite the fact the Orioles got in early this morning and had a very short night. The adrenaline will pump them through this one as they get set for the home run opener. And, Mike, there is Brad Bergesen, and he did have all 7 of his wins in this yard, 7-1 at home, and he makes the start as he wanted to do in the home opener this year.
Yeah, he certainly personifies what we talked about in the open. 0-4 on the road, but 7-1 at home, so he really is probably the right pitcher to have on the mound today.
55 degrees, our temperature, mostly clear skies. Let's take a look at the Southwest starting lineup. He will face Cito Gaston and the Jays. It'll be Bautista, Gonzalez, and Lynn. Vernon Wells, Overbay, Buck, Encarnacion, Snider, and McDonald. Wells, who is red hot starting the year. 29 career homers against the O's, the most against any team for Wells.
There's Brad Bergesen, great homer, the home record 7-1. Keep hitting the yard. One thing he's done so well at this ballpark in those last 7 starts he made before his injury, he only allowed 2 home runs in quality starts. He's made 12 of them consecutively.
So he'll go for the victory here at home and try and even up the mark for the Orioles, as he is 1-0 with a 3.55 against Toronto. His 7-5 mark last year is his career mark, of course, coming into this ball game. And as will be true for the entire season, the Orioles counting on the defense behind their pitchers to make them better. Take a look at the D today.
Well, going around the outfield, Luke Scott will start in left field. Adam Jones in center, Markakis in right. Around the infield, left to right. Miguel Tejada at third base as Torres, Roberts, and Atkins at first. Matt Wieters behind the plate.
There's Dave Tremblay with a tip of the cap over to Cito Gaston in the other dugout. These two managers will see a lot of one another with the 18 games to be played. They divided the games last year 9-9. And the first pitch at home, Bergesen gets it in there for a strike, and Jose Bautista leading it off. Bautista has picked up 1 hit in 11 at-bats in the first 3 games. He will foul that one away. Toronto comes in having taken 2 out of 3 against Texas, including victory in the ball game yesterday. The Orioles 1-2 against Tampa Bay. The O's in the home openers. You see the record since 0-1, tied for best in the majors at 8-1 since that date. To short, and that's going to be a base hit. So Bautista leads the ball game off with a single. The right fielder on with nobody out.
Nothing but strikes from Bergesen. 0-2 coming right at him. A little bit too much of the plate.
Probably first and foremost, Mike, throwing strikes is what's on his mind out there to kick this game off.
And it should be. One of the things when you're starting some of these opening games is you're nervous and tend to pick a little bit, but I think it's a good sign he comes out early throwing strikes.
Yep. Here is Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop for Toronto. Bautista on at first base, and a strike will be taken on the inside corner. Gonzalez off to a good start. He is 4 for 13, a home run, and 1 RBI so far. This Toronto team's got a little burr underneath them because most of the prognosticators have picked Toronto to finish last in the American League East.
Talking about them slipping back a little bit. 175 games, lost 87 last year.
Cito Gaston, the manager, thinks he's got some pretty decent balance on this ball club. Of course, he doesn't have Holiday. Runner goes at a big jump on the attempted hit and run. Wieters coming back will not have a play. You saw Gonzalez pick that back foot up. He was trying to put it to right field with the coverage by Roberts at second.
Take a look at this hit and run. Not much of a look back from the runner. Of course, Bautista, one-time an Oriole.
Yeah. You were telling me all the familiar names that have shared these two organizations. Here's the 0-2 delivery to him. Swung on and missed. Good off-speed pitch that was down and away.
You can see Bergesen will take a little bit off that slider, run it off the outside corner by quite a good margin. No chance for Gonzalez.
It's the number 2 hitter. That will leave Bautista on at first base. Here's Adam Lind. Lind is the designated hitter in the ball game. Left-hander. Left-handers hit .263 off Bergesen last year. Right-handers .267. Not much difference. And the pitch will miss down and away. Land a genuine threat there at the plate in the number 3 hold. He's gone 4 for 12. He's picked up a home run, has an RBI. Toronto out-homered Texas 6-3 in the first 3 ball games, outscoring them 14-10. Takes the strike, and Bergesen gets it to 1-1 on Lynn.
Bergesen, always one of those pitchers, very active on the mound.
Never stops, does he?
Never stops moving.
Comes up to get the ball, walks a little circle back to the mound. Quick throw over and had him leaning. That was a close play at first base. Joe West, first base umpire, moving in.
As I'm sitting up here, I'm looking, so that lead is too big. Bergesen recognized it, had Batista leaning towards second.
Batista's trying to get Bergesen's attention by extending that lead over there, having already gone once. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Off-speed pitch will miss outside. 2-1 strikeout. Toronto is a team, expect when they get base runners on who can run, and Batista's one of them, that they will try and steal some bases. Cito Gaston wants to make this a team that forces mistakes by opponents this year to try and generate some offense and get some extra outs. And again, Bergesen holding him over there on the 2-1 count.
Yeah, I would say for the last couple of years, the importance of a single out has become important once again. Power numbers down across the game, and more teams running and bunting, moving runners along, trying to generate more offense.
Situational baseball.
Situational hitting.
2-1 delivery on the way. That will be outside. And Bergesen will fall behind here. A 3-1 strikeout. Bergesen with a runner on at first base, and he's got Wells waiting on deck. So he does not want to put anybody else on here the way Wells has been hitting. You want to face Wells with the bases empty if at all possible, or leading off an inning. 3-1 delivery, and he gets that one in at the knees for a strike and goes full 3-2. Bautista checking over into the dugout. See whether or not they want him to go.
Take a look at his last pitch. Outstanding late movement.
Bergesen very pumped up to be able to get back after the injury last year that ended the season. Runner goes, and it's outside. So he surrenders the walk and creates an early chance for the Jays here, because here comes Vernon Wells, who right now is just pounding the baseball.
Yeah, he's made some adjustments in his...
Already 4 homers.
That's right. He's made some adjustments in his swing. He's coming off of wrist surgery. Much quicker bat, hands closer to the body, and it really seems to have helped him generate more bat speed, which seemed to be the problem last year.
Most home runs since 52 in the first 3 games. Kyle Furillo, Eddie Matthews, Frank Howard, Barry Bonds, Chris Shelton, and Vernon Wells will try and extend that streak here in this ball game. And Wells is 3 for 6 off Bergesen. For both of these lineups, the hitters, for the most part, have not seen the opposing pitcher but for a limited few at bats. He'll foul that one away. And a 1-1 strikeout. Bautista's at second base. Lind is on at first. Toronto trying to jump out here. Last year on the road, they won 31 and lost 50 like the Orioles. They struggled away from their home ballpark. 1-1 delivery, tried to come inside, missed a little too far with it, and a 2-1 strikeout.
Yeah, when you consider Vernon Wells only had 15 home runs all of last year, just 66 driven in.
Wells played with a bad wrist last year, had surgery, and says he feels just a whole lot better and more confident about taking the full swing this year. And that is showing up so far in the results. 2-2 strikeout. Wells. Runners off first and second. And that's going to be into left field for a base hit. It was hit hard. Luke Scott will hold the runner at third on the throw to the plate. A single for Wells, and they're loaded with only 1 out. Boy, he tagged that one. Bergesen in trouble here in the first inning. And Lyle Overbay will stand in with an RBI chance. Bergesen will look for the ground ball and a double play.
Absolutely. He has the sinker to do it with. But again, talking about that Wells swing, you see how much shorter it is, how compact, and that ball was right in on his hands.
Really muscled the ball, hitting a little bit more off his back foot as well. There you see Overbay, just 1 for 11 so far on the season. Jays have got a real chance to jump out early in this ball game. This is where Overbay, it was just a disaster for him last year. He hit .205 with runners in scoring position. That's just unheard of for Overbay with a ton of at-bats, 112 at-bats in those situations. And obviously, Toronto needs some RBIs from Overbay because he's one of their production hitters. Here's the 1-1 delivery. This is down low, 2-1 count.
You can see how quickly you can get in trouble if you go back to the first batter of the game, an 0-2 base hit. I'd like to have that pitch back.
And you put a walk in there. 2-1 the count. Sacks full here, infield back for 2. And that'll be lifted down the line, foul, and a 2-1 count. Wind is blowing out today, mostly towards left field. So for the right-handed batters, probably will have a bit of an advantage, although the flags atop the scoreboard and right are also flurrying around with a little outness to them. So maybe ball's going to carry here up in the air. 2-2 delivery on the way. Overbay takes the breaking ball. It is inside. And a 3-2 count.
Pretty good pitch. Let's look at this last pitch by Bergesen. Runs it right through the strike zone. Tough pitch to lay off of.
3-2 Overbay. And again, we'll fight that one away. So one thing the Jays have already done is, in the first inning, force the Orioles starter to throw some pitches.
That's really what the modern game is all about. Run that pitch count up of the starter and get into the back end of somebody's bullpen.
That has been the name of the game for the last few years. 3-2 again. Bases loaded, 1 down. And that one in the air, right center field. Markakis going back. He's got it lined up. Puts it away. Bautista will tag up and will score. Toronto takes the 1-0 lead. Lyle Overbay in a sacrifice fly.
Gary, I think you were right about the wind. That ball really seemed to be held up. I thought it was headed for the gap in right center.
Very hard to tell, as you know, Mike, with the wind here at Camden Yards because it swirls. Oftentimes difficult to know exactly, unless you're out there, where that ball's going to.
You can tell because the American flag is blowing out to left and the Canadian flag is blowing out to right.
That will require some introspection by our listeners.
Right, that's some swirling.
Some swirling going on, yes. Thank you so much. 1-0 lead. Here's John Buck doing the catching. Runners at first and second as Lynn did not tag up. He played it halfway and did not get over to third base. He might have had a chance, as deep as that ball was hit, to advance. In the air to center. Jones is going to have to get on his horse for this one. Back, and can't get it. It is off his glove. Lynn will score. Vernon Wells will score. It'll be a double and 2 RBIs. And a 3-0 lead on a ball that was rising, but Jones got back, and the Gold Glover did have a glove on it.
Right over his left shoulder. So Jones going back. Looks like it was off the end of his glove. Actually, looks like it hit the heel of his glove and rolled out. Again, the wind on this one didn't seem to affect it. I don't know if it was how well it was hit.
You know he's going to say that's the ball they should have had. Those are the plays that, while they may be outstanding, make such a difference in a ball game. You end an inning and it's 1-0, or it continues and it's 3-0.
It looks like it's a ball he certainly should have caught. Again, hits the heel, really just in and out of almost the pocket of the glove.
So the inning stays alive. 3 runs on 3 hits for the Jays. Encarnacion will foul that one back. Edwin Encarnacion, the third baseman for Toronto. Encarnacion has picked up a hit in 9 at bats. He does have a couple of RBIs with a 1 base hit he has put up. And the fastball by Bergesen is in. Rick Kranitz went out between hitters to talk to Bergesen just to try and settle it down a little bit, get this final out, and get out of the inning. 29th pitch of the inning is fouled off on a 2-strike count.
A very high pitch count, and no matter what happens here to the next hitter, when you're starting the next inning, you know that top of the order is going to roll right over and be facing them once again.
0-2 count, runner on at second base. And that's going to miss up high for a ball. Bergesen with a 7-1 mark at home and a 2.68 ERA last year. So already Toronto has gone over that in the first inning. 1-2 delivery. Slider's going to miss outside. 2-2.
When you have an inning like this, that plate seems to get smaller and smaller. You think you have to make a better and better pitch the more pitches you throw.
2-2 delivery on the way, and that one's going to be knocked down as Torres. Can he get the out? Fine defensive play as Torres gets Encarnacion to end the inning. But 3-run score on 3 hits with a base runner left on. One defensive play that wasn't made, and that one that was. To the plate. Take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Dave Tremblay's O's. It'll be Roberts, Jones, and Markakis. Tejada, Scott, and Wieters. Reimold, Atkins, Andis, Torres, Matt Wieters. 3 multi-hit games in his first 3 ball games, including a home run.
Brandon Moreau, sinker slider, that was his assortment when he was a reliever. Now has added a curveball and a straight change. Very tough on right-handers. They've hit a career against Moreau at under 200 and limit the walks. At times, he can be almost 1-to-1 strikeouts to walks. But one of the things I said is Cito Gaston said he really wants to be a starter now. Never mind going back and forth. He's closed from time to time.
He's earned the job. He's the number 4 starter, 25 years old. Ryan Roberts leads it off and takes the pitch down low. Ryan showed the rust of not having a full spring in the first couple of games and then got out of that in game number 3 in Tampa Bay. Morrow will take the pitch and miss it down low. So 3 hits and 14 at bats for Ryan to start it out. Leading doubles man. Outfield playing him a bit towards left field. 2-0 delivery on the way. Roberts takes. And Morrow falls behind the first batter. 3-0. That's the way you want to come out when you get a 3-0 lead. Right?
Absolutely. Control will be an issue. I mean, it's something we talked about in the open.
3-0 delivery on the way. And the fastball is in there for a strike. Morrow retired 64% of leadoff batters in an inning last year. Left-handers 277, and as Mike said, right-handers just 212 last year against him. And that's outside, and Roberts gets the leadoff walk. Now, Oriole fans will get a chance to see Adam Jones, and it has been a while. Because last year, the injury on September 1, when he tried to get back to the bag on that ankle, ended his season. And cost the All-Star Gold Glover a chance to finish strong. He has come back, though, healthy, and ready to go. There are the numbers. 4 for 14 so far. Roberts on at first base. And he's off. Showed bunt, straight steal. Throw bunt, not going to get him, and he gets back on the bag.
Well, wasting no time, down 3 runs, come right out. Brian Roberts, that's a very big lead. Great jump, straight steal, no look back to the plate.
So the Orioles come out running against Buck. Almost went by the bag. But hangs in there. 2 stolen bases on the season. Here Jones gets the RBI chance now. And will foul that one away. Strike 2.
You see Jones taking a shot to right field with nobody out.
In the very least at this at bat, Adams' job is to get Roberts to third base. You want the RBI if you can get it, but you got to at least move him up. This is where the Orioles have started out in the first series with some real problems. 6 for 32 with runners in scoring position, a 188 average. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way. Chop foul. The Orioles last year were second in the American League in that department as they hit 284 with runners in scoring position. They could easily have won 2, if not all 3 of those games if they'd had a couple of key hits in Tampa.
Absolutely, all 1-run games in Tampa. You always feel those could go either way. One play here, one base hit there.
Roberts at second, being held close by McDonald, the second baseman. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that one will be fouled away. We want to say hello to Jim. Jim Palmer's back home. He has had a touch of some kind of a bug that got to him, so he's getting better, feeling better today, he said. So hopefully we'll be back with us shortly. So Jim, enjoy the ball game.
If he had laryngitis, how could you hear him?
Yeah. Brian Roberts slid in hard, took a little bump to the head and maybe the ribs when he went across the bag. Ooh! Got him. There was nowhere to go on that pitch.
As we said, control can be an issue with Morrow. Probably the last thing he wants to do. And Jones is actually trying to stay closed and stay back and still shoot to right field, which makes him susceptible to that ball inside. And that is high and behind.
Wow. Not even close on that one. Fortunately, Adam turned the right way, which is backwards. Kept it away from his head. So the Orioles looking to come right back here in the bottom half of the first inning, get 2 on. And here's Nick Markakis as Brandon Morrow making his first start. A little rough here in the first couple of hitters. Markakis will take the pitch, and it is in there for a strike. And Nick gets the RBI chance. Markakis of the current Orioles has the best career batting average against Toronto. He's a .321 hitter. Lifetime against the Jays. 1 here, and he'll get at least 1 RBI. There's the 0-1 delivery on the way. Fastball inside. There are the top Orioles against Toronto. Lifetime numbers. Felix P.A. not playing. Wigginton not. Miguel Tejada is in there, and Julio Lugo got in a game yesterday, a .288 lifetime mark against the Jays.
Well, certainly Tejada was a significant amount of at-bats, too.
Yeah,
to that 293.
1-1 delivery, misses down low. And Morrow will have a conversation with Buck. And as a hitter, when you have somebody pitching the way Morrow is right now, you got to go up there and wait, huh, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. And you eliminate pitches. You say, I'm not going to look for a breaking ball. He's having difficulty getting his fastball over the plate.
Make him work and earn it. Morrow, as we said, has been, Mike said, he's been a closer at times. Has started some ball games, but has been all over the place and really wants this number 4 job. He started 10 games and 26 appearances with Seattle last year. Ended up with that 2-4 record. 2 ball, 1 strikeout, Markakis. He'll look one to drive. Didn't get it. It's away and up high, 3-1. You think the bullpens are out there going, you know something? I think we're going to be working today.
You look out there and they start in the stretch and move around a little bit.
Bottom of the first.
Both sides.
Yikes. 14 pitches have been thrown by Morrow, and he hasn't got an out. And generally, you want to stay around 14 to 17 pitches per inning. And he walks him to load the bases. Well, welcome back to Camden Yards, Miguel Tejada. As they play, welcome back Cotter. No better way to do it as a hitter than this. Roberts at third, Jones at second base, Markakis on at first. Miguel Tejada with the sacks full. Orioles down 3-0. Nobody out. Infield double play depth. And Miggy up the middle has got a base hit. Roberts will score. Jones will score. Markakis goes to third. 3-2. The all-time list.
Wasting no time, hanging slider from Morrow. I don't think has made really a quality pitch in this game so far.
3 RBIs on the year for Tejada in his first at bat, returning to the Orioles at home. Orioles still nobody out. Runners at first and third now. Luke Scott playing in left field in the ball game today with Nolan Reimold DHing. Morrow looked to third and then back to first. 10 home runs were hit off Morrow last year in 70 innings, and 7 of the 10 were hit by left-handers. Scott will take it, a breaking ball that's going to be in there, strike one. So the Orioles come right back after the Jays got 3 in that first inning. Brian Roberts went down underneath with the trainer, and there you saw Dave Tremblay as well following, as Roberts in that slide to second base looked as though he may have bumped his ribs. He kept putting his hand on the uniform by the ribs, so we'll see. Here's the 0-1 delivery to Scott. He was trying to drive one, fouls it away, and an 0-2 count.
It was a very painful steal of second base. You can see he got kicked in the head, looked like, and then he traveled over the bag. I'm not sure, but he did really come up holding his chest area, rib area.
No matter how much it is talked about, today's players will not slide feet first into second base. They just won't do it.
You're right. I hadn't really thought about that much. Ricky Henderson used to do that all the time, though, too.
Yep.
You see guys slide into first base all the time.
Yes. 0-2 count. And Scott chasing one upstairs. Wanted that one a little too much.
Moreau really getting actually lucky. It was a hanging slider, but he hung it so badly. Doesn't come down at all.
Would have had to have a little step ladder for that one.
When you're on the mound, you're saying, please don't break. Stay up there. Please don't.
Here is Matt Wieters, off to a red-hot start. Has had at least a couple in the first 3 games. 2 on, 1 down. And Matt will take the pitch for a strike on the inside corner. Wieters looking to move up in the lineup, become even more productive than he was. He's had some great cuts in these series against Tampa Bay, and no reason to believe that the finish that he had last year won't be what this guy is all about at the plate. The 0-1 pitch to him, that's a laid-in strike that Wieters thought was away, and it's 0-2.
And I think he was right. It's a thing that players get upset about. Morrow is missed by feet and not inches, and then throws one a little bit off the outside corner. I'm sure Moreau thinks it's close compared to what he's thrown so far.
Rob Drake, the home plate umpire. This is the crew that had the Red Sox-Yankee series. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Fisted that one away. I was telling Mike before the game, Joe West is down at first base. West made some comments after that Red Sox-Yankee series that we'll see how everybody responds to it. He said it's embarrassing to baseball that the Red Sox and Yankees take as much time to play games as they do. Embarrassing. That was his word. He said it was disgusting.
Disgusting and embarrassing.
Yes. 0-2 the count. And Wieters stayed away. They want to check at third, but not going to get a call there. Schreiber down at third base, had Wieters held up. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Obviously, the Orioles here have got a chance not only to get back after giving up 3, but get a lead. 2 on, 1 down. The double play ball. That's what the Jays are after right now. Morrow, right-handers 1-2. Wieters takes it, and it's outside. Try to go to that same spot again, 2-2. Wieters last year hit .312 here in this ballpark. Very good average at home. .265 on the road for Matt. So this hitter's yard was a good one for him last year. 2-2. And again fights it away. And now we're up to 25 pitches that have been thrown by Morrow. Joe West may not like this game very much either.
I don't know if I've ever seen a pitcher complete a 9-inning game throwing 270 pitches at this pace.
Have to call Nolan Ryan, see if he ever did that.
He may have. He may have been the only one.
Somewhere, yeah.
He and Big Ed Walsh, maybe that's about it.
2-2 delivery on the way, and that's inside, and it's 3-2. Do you send Miggy here?
Pretty good question. As wild as he is, I'm not so sure I would.
All right. Tejada's on at first base. Markakis on at third.
And again, the way Dave Tremblay's played it today, down 3, stealing right off the bat.
Go get him.
Go for it. You're at home.
3 ball, 2 strike count, 1 down. Tejada not going. Wieters takes it, and he walked in. Boy, Morrow's really struggling here. Bases loaded again. 3 walks in the inning.
3 walks and a hit batsman.
So obviously, meeting's going to be held at the mound on this one as the pitching coach, Bruce Walton, coming out to have a word with Morrow. This was the part of the game that Toronto struggled with last year, and that was pitching. Their ERA was 10th in the American League. They scored runs. They were 6th in average, 6th in runs, and 4th in home runs in the American League. But the pitching did not carry its load as they ended up with a 75-87 record. There are the Orioles. They loaded them up. Markakis, Tejada, and Wieters. Nolan Reimold is the designated hitter in this ball game. 1 out. Outfield very deep, and that's going to miss for a ball. And the way Morrow's throwing, Mike, I think now the home plate umpire, he's got to get it in there. He ain't going to get him.
Right, and I think John Buck, the catcher, said he's trying to find a pitch that Morrow has that he can throw over the plate. He's tried the breaking balls. He's tried fastballs.
Reimold taking it. It's down low for a ball. 5 at bats for Nolan Reimold. He has picked up a couple of hits, home run, and an RBI. Reimold continuing to recover from that heel that bothered him all spring after the Achilles tendon and heel problem last year. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Reimold inside. And even when he's got to make a pitch, Morrow can't find it.
And it's even not even close. I mean, that's the thing that I'm sure is upsetting Cito Gaston and the rest. I mean, he is not missing by inches. And to come out with a 3-run lead and to just sort of hand it back.
3-0 the count. No green light. Walked him, an RBI. Ball game is tied. Markakis will score.
Again, we're talking about the first pitch breaking ball. Misses below the strike zone over the middle. Tries another one to go 2-0. Then misses badly inside, so the release point is all over the place. So both fastballs up, and then the inside part of the plate, both breaking balls away. Which is not a good combination to have.
Yikes. You want, if you're Cito Gaston, you want to give Morrow a chance to settle down, but I mean, one more base hit here, and he's in trouble. There's Camp in the bullpen. And here's Atkins at the plate. Garrett with the sacks full takes a strike on the inside corner. 4 for 12 to kick off his Orioles season. No home runs, but 3 RBIs for Garrett Atkins, whom the Orioles are counting on to deliver, and it's a pretty powerful bat to be in the number 8 spot in this lineup. That's inside for a ball, and it goes to 1-1 to Garrett Atkins.
Well, Atkins wisely taking a strike. Let's find out if he can throw it over the plate.
No reason to hurry at the plate the way these pitchers are being delivered. Atkins 283 last year with runners in scoring position. Here's the 1-1 to him. He was late on that, and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
Well, now Moreau up around 35 pitches. And you think about it, the only hit the Orioles had was Miguel Tejada's base hit on the first pitch.
It's been all about Morrow, his own worst enemy. 1-ball 2-strike count, sacks full. Second time the Orioles have had him loaded in the inning. Tejada delivered a base hit, 2 RBIs when he had the sacks full. Raimo got the bases loaded, drew the walk and RBI. Now Atkins has him loaded. And a 1-2 count. And that one is short. Got his chance. McDonald, and a double play. So a big out right there will keep Morrow in the ballgame. But the Orioles tie it up as they get 3. 2 RBIs. Miguel Tejada, the RBI single, the big blow in the inning.
First pitch, but they told me they did it with heavy hearts as they saw the moment of silence for Mike Cuellar, the Orioles' great pitcher who was lost to stomach cancer last week. And they said they have such great memories. They've never had so much fun with a player on the field as they did with a guy like Mike Cuellar. They said that nobody except for Stu Miller, they said, could make a batter look so funny in the batter's box. And it was almost comical to the point where Brooks and Boog would be laughing. But Mike Cuellar thought it was funny too, but he couldn't laugh. They said he would turn his back to the batter, put his glove up over his mouth, and you would see his shoulders kind of bounce up and down because he was laughing too at the batters doing twirls in the batter's box. So at this tough time, they're remembering the good memories of Mike Cuellar and how much joy he brought to Orioles fans. Gary?
All right, Amber, and he certainly did, and a great loss for the Orioles family. And a lot of people to pay respects this past week to Mike Cuellar and his family.
He was terrific. Helped me a lot when I first got to the big leagues, and I was really there. Mike was getting older, and I was really there to take his spot. And I can remember him taking me in the outfield hour after hour working on a pickoff move.
John McDonald up the middle. That's Lugo at second who makes the relay. After Travis Snider delivered a base hit, McDonald hits into the double play. And yes, Julio Lugo is playing second, and Brian Roberts is out of the game.
We're back to the first inning. Brian doing the head first slide. So he ended up getting kicked in the head. You can see him immediately come up and
After getting kicked in the head, really holding his chest area, ribs. Look like his ribs may have gone across the bag.
Yeah. Looks like the head would have been a bigger problem, but so Lou goes on to play second. And a towering pop-up by Bautista to first base. Atkins. And he's got it. So 36 pitches thrown. Only 3 of those came here in this inning. The Orioles, mostly clear skies, some high clouds, 55 degrees. Boog Powell, Brooks Robinson out to throw the first pitch. Miguel Tejada came out to take it from Brooksy. And the Orioles will bat here in the bottom half of the second inning. We're going to check in with Amber here and Brian Roberts after this first pitch up high. Amber?
Well, Gary, Brian didn't return to the game, as you said earlier. He slid into second base in the first inning, and the base sort of hit his chest, and we know that it's a strained abdominal muscle. We don't know how long he'll be out or how serious it is, but it's been a tough go of it for Brian. If you remember in Tampa, he slid into second, hurt his shoulder yesterday, and he's also had those back problems all through spring training. So let's hope Brian Roberts can get this treated and get back out here on the field, hopefully tomorrow the next day.
All right, Amber, thank you. And, boy, I'll tell you something. It makes the move of the Orioles getting Julio Lugo look mighty large. That was the very thing they were concerned with, whether Brian Roberts would be healthy and be able to play even for opening day. So they went out and got Lugo late in the spring. As Torres takes it up high and a 2-2 count. So, well, Brian is all right, and obviously there'll be updates here after the ball game. Cesar is Torres, and he loops that one to left center field. Snider and Wells. Snider's there, and he's got it. As Torres retired, one down here in the second inning, and Julio Lugo will be batting in the leadoff spot now. So Lugo will get his first at bat. Tell you one thing, this is one very professional man who goes about his business of playing baseball as businesslike as you'll see anybody do. He is always ready. Rarely, if ever, hear a word out of him about anything except what you want me to do.
Always has a very serious game face on.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, and he can play this game. Pitch is taken for a strike. So Morrow trying to do what Bergesen did, and that's settle down after that first inning. Bergesen certainly did it in a hurry. Lugo, the 0-1 pitch. And a check swing. He went around. Home plate umpire will make the call. And it is a 2-strike count. Lugo made the start Thursday at shortstop. Had an 0 for 4 coming from the Cardinals. Player to be named later. He hit .280. 88 games between Boston and St. Louis last year. He's always been a pretty good base runner throughout his career. A little older now, not doing as much of that. He'll foul that one away, and it stays at 2 strikes.
Well, as Brian Roberts can attest to, too, being a base stealer is a punishing business. That was really what was so amazing about Ricky Henderson over the years, the pounding that you take, especially, like you said, if you do the head-first dive predominantly.
Never bothered Ricky, but neither did anything else.
Nothing bothered Ricky. No.
Nope. Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and Lugo is gone. So Morrow comes out in this great game of baseball, retires the first 2 he faces after he went through 8 in the first inning. Time is running out on your chance to receive the exclusive Brooks Robinson figurine by becoming an Orioles partial season plan holder. For as low as $154, you get a wide variety of orange carpet benefits, including that figurine, and the opportunity not going to last much longer. So give a call, check in, get your tickets, 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. 2 down, nobody on. Here's Jones, hit by a pitch his first time up, strike on the outside corner. Morrow with a couple of strikeouts, 3 walks, hit batter. Foul that one right straight back in an 0-2 count.
You see the control problems that Moreau had was, quite a different problem. They both threw about 40 pitches in the inning, but Bergesen, it was not this problem. I'm sure he got the lecture when he got to the dugout. Throw it over. You're going to give up 1 base hit in that inning. And threw about 40. Well, he's at 46 pitches now.
And a breaking ball, and he got him. Amazing. Both pitchers, after some tough first inning deliveries, come away and face only 3 each in the second. By Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. With Mike Flanagan and Amber Theo Harris, I'm Gary Thorne. Opening day. Welcome. Great to have you with us. And obviously, big crowd on hand here for this opener. And a very offensive start. 3-4-0 for the Jays. 3-1-0. That one hit high in the air. Left center field. It is way back. And goodbye home run. Well, that didn't take very long. 1 pitch, and Gonzalez puts it out into left center field to lead off the 3rd inning. And the offense continues, and it's 4-3 Jays.
The second of the season for Gonzalez. And again, we saw a ball earlier hit to right field to Markakis. It seemed to be held up, but going to left center and dead center, the ball seems to be riding. Well, Jones really not able to even get back to try to have a play on it.
That's hit number 5 for the Jays off Bergesen. Here's Adam Lind. And the pitcher's take it inside for a ball. Lind drew a walk and scored his first time up. 286 career average against the Orioles. 8 lifetime home runs against the O's. Bergesen's pitch will miss. And he falls behind 2-0. Well, I have no idea where this ball game's going to go.
We don't have a feel for this one yet,
There's no feel for this. The only feel you have is you're going to see the bullpen, and probably a lot of them. But having said that, who knows?
Yeah, there really is no pattern to it. I'm sure both sides, you play the war of attrition. They need to just get starters through as long as it stays reasonably close.
Yep. And that is in there for a strike, taking all the way, and the count goes to 3-1. Fans kind of buzzing about the same thing here. 3-1 delivery. Down to first base. Atkins there. Gobbles it up. Lind is retired, one away.
They're more, less like innings. They're more like rounds. This is round 3.
If you're counting hitters knocking down pitchers in that regard, there's been a lot of knockdowns here so far.
Absolutely.
One away, base is empty, and here's Wells. Wells, a 4-game hit streak now as he singled and scored in the first inning. Vernon Wells takes the off-speed delivery, and it is in there for a strike. Aaron Hill not playing at second base in the ball game for Toronto, the regular. Didn't go around. He has a right hamstring problem, kept out of the ball game against Texas yesterday and out again. So John McDonald is playing second base.
Big time offensive player. It was a big loss.
Big time. A towering pop up behind second. Lugo. 2 down.
Let's take a look at Brad Bergesen's delivery. Very smooth over the extreme first base side of the rubber. Quick pivot. Little knee to kick the glove. Like a little slip on landing, but lands very square to the plate. It's one of the reasons he's able to keep the ball down, repeat his delivery.
Gets 2 outs after giving up the 409-foot home run to Gonzalez. Pitch is taken down low for a ball by Overbay. Overbay an RBI and a sacrifice fly. His first time up to the plate. 1-0 pitch, that one in the air, left center field. Luke Scott, he's got it. So Bergesen comes back after the homer and gets the next 3 outs. However, with one more up on the board, Jay's up. Orioles have never faced Toronto in an opening game before. So here in this opening day at home, they get them. Bergesen giving up the homer that is now the difference in the ball game, 4-3. Morrow will face Markakis, Tejada, and Scott as we go to the bottom of the third. And Markakis will take that for a strike. He drew a walk and scored in the first inning. Orioles swept the Jays in the last 3 games of the season last year, so they come in with a 3-game win streak against Toronto. And that'll be sliced foul. 0-2 on Markakis.
The O's and the Blue Jays split the series. The Orioles going 8-1 here and 1-8 there.
Pretty good home cooking both ways around for these ball clubs last year. 0-2 count. And that one fisted up the middle. Gonzalez was playing that way and gets the out. Markakis retired, one away. On Sunday, the O's will host these Jays at 1:35 here, and the first 10,000 will receive a plush cow presented by Chick-fil-A. Sunday is also the first Junior Orioles Dugout Club of 2010, so parents, make sure to register your kids. Get the kit, Orioles.com. Bring your voucher for your special member-only giveaway item. For details, 888-848-BIRD to go to Orioles.com. Wind blowing a little bit, so you see some hot dog wrappers flying around here. A 1-0 count. Miguel Tejada delivered the single, 2 RBIs with the bases loaded.
You can see that wind really starting to swirl.
It really is. Yep. Tejada will take it down low. Tejada always a pure hitter, but this was a ballpark that he always hit very well in, with a .321 batting average lifetime here at Camden Yards, and he has 68 career home runs in this ballpark. 2-0 count on him, and takes that to short. Gonzalez over. 2 down.
I don't have the pitch count since the first inning. Somebody really threw a switch for Moreau.
It's amazing how the adage continues to be a truism. Good things happen when you throw strikes.
It's true. Sometimes bad things happen to you when you throw strikes. But I can always remember Jimmy Key, when I played with the Blue Jays, would say, I don't know what's going to happen, boys, but it's going to happen fast. Here I come. I always thought that was great.
2 down, nobody on. And that is a strike taken. Luke Scott, a strikeout victim, his first time up.
You know, when you're throwing, excuse me, when you're throwing strikes, you know what the next pitch is. You can pitch off the one you just threw if it was a strike. You can see the hitter's reaction. What was going on in that first inning was not pitching.
Hitters were watching, wondering what the pitchers were doing. Morrow out of Phoenix, born in California, and has been with the Seattle Mariners for parts of 4 seasons prior to this year. Picked up by the Jays, given a chance to be their starter. Brandon League in the deal that went the other way. And Morrow making just his 16th major league start in his 132nd major league game.
Really flew through the minor leagues, very few outings, and in the big leagues. I think he was 3rd fastest out of that draft.
25 years old, 1-2 delivery on the way, and Scott will take the pitch inside for a ball. And it'll go to 2-2. Fastball. His fastball is being clocked here at the yard in the mid-90s, 94 to 96 miles an hour. It doesn't look that fast.
It really does not. That kind of fooled me. I was wondering if there was a mistake on the board, because he does it out of a rather easy delivery to be 95 and 96.
2 ball, 2 strike count. And Scott takes it and is gone. That's where he went after him last time up high, and that's where he went after him again. He retires the side in order. 4-3 Jays. GoRVing.com. Visit GoRVing.com to watch a free video. Go affordably. Go RVing. Mike Flanagan back with our massive crew this year and joining us for the first outing for the ball game, the home opener against the Jays. And the pitch is taken outside for a ball. Brad Bergesen trailing here by 1, 4-5-0 for the Jays, 3-1-0 for the Orioles. 2 left on by the O's, 1 by the Jays so far, and that is over. Miggy's headed third and into left field. Buck will make the turn, and he will have an easy double. So 2 doubles and 2 RBIs and 2 at-bats for the Toronto catcher.
I tried to get him out in the fastball the first time, a double to center field, and a ball that Adam Jones probably should have caught. He comes back with a breaking ball, and this time hits a line drive just out of the reach of Miguel Tejada down the left field line.
Buck's not going to steal a lot of bases, but when you hit the ball that hard, you don't have to.
Runs like a catcher, as they say.
And the pitch is taken inside for a ball. Encarnacion grounded out his first time up. Edward Encarnacion getting an RBI chance here. This is not the start Bergesen had been hoping for. Still very much in the game. Timeout taken by Wieters at the plate. Brad Bergesen had asked Dave Tremblay if he could start the home opener, if it would work, and he really wanted this start. Markakis will put it away. Buck will tag, but he's not going anywhere. 1 down. Sometimes when you want something that bad, the adrenaline can get flowing, and maybe you're just a little too pumped.
Well, I asked Santa Claus for a lot of things. I didn't always get my wish either.
No?
No.
Wow, you must have gone to the wrong.
Good.
You went to the wrong Sears store.
Might have been. Might have been. You're right.
Joe West is telling Bergesen to go ahead and get a new ball. Now, this is
Joe's slowing the game down.
Yeah, he's trying to hurry it up.
Oh.
Bergesen wanted a new ball, and West was like, throw it in, let's go. Joe's got this, get this game going on, I'm telling you. He is the crew chief, by the way. Here's Travis Snider. Snider looked at 1 pitch first time up and delivered a single, then ended up being taken out in a double play. Runner at second base, 1 down. Travis Snider, the Buck out there at second. They're hoping for big things from Snider, who's got some power. Pitch is outside for a ball, and the count goes to 1-1. Snider's one of those young players that they brought along gradually. 77 games last year. He hit .241. He'll chop that one foul. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. He's only 22 years old, and he'll be 22 for the entire season. So he's really made a pretty quick entry to the major league level.
He's a good player. Good young player. A high expectation level.
He was their first-round pick, 14th overall in the 2006 draft. Snider with a 1-2 count. Bergesen inside. Good stop by Wieters. That'll hold the runner at second base with a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Take a look at Matt Wieters. Really sort of drop. He was originally going to go to the backhand, but shifts all that weight over to the side, takes it off the shin guard of the chest protector, keeps it in front.
The wise and proper decision. 2-2. Short lead at second for Buck, and outside for a ball. So the count goes to 3-2 now. On the changeup.
Always amazed me where a catcher can take it off the body, off the shin, off the neck. Nobody even asked him if he was all right.
No.
A stretcher out there for was one of the players out in the field.
3-2 to the hole. Lugo. Nice glove. Good play. Good move right there. Mike Flanagan, Gary Thorne upstairs here with Amber Theo Harris. And right now, this ball game, as we said, is just, I think, just pretty much up for grabs.
Yeah, it hasn't really settled in. Both pitchers have made adjustments after the very slow first inning, but they're throwing more strikes. It's starting to settle in a little bit more to a pitcher's duel.
And we'll see how long they can go. Generally, for pitchers this time of the season, you're limiting the innings and pitch count, yes?
Yeah, you try to hold it back to probably 80, but I think with the weather being on the cooler side, I mean, it's one of those days to me you could pitch all day long.
Okay. Let's see, Bergesen would like to do that. Here's the 0-1 delivery, runner at third base. Foul away. John McDonald get into a double play his first time up. So McDonald getting the start at second base in this ball game, with Hill out of there and hitting in the number 9 spot. Here's the 0-2. Got him. Well, Bergesen leaves that runner at third. That is his second strikeout of the ball game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on. Jays up by 1. Question. Since Mike is here for the first time, it's your question. Who hit the first Orioles home run at Camden Yards?
Well, the first Orioles home run. I just remember the first home run. But the first game. I don't get the answers like Palmer does beforehand?
No. You didn't. No. You'll learn now that you've done one.
I'm only kidding.
Now you'll ask for him.
Yes.
Who hit the first home run?
I thought it was a Cleveland Indian player.
Was it?
Yeah. Paul Sorrento, maybe?
Okay.
I'm not sure who hit the first Oriole.
Always take a guess. It's impressive.
When you guess?
You just guess. Just throw something out there, and then when you're wrong, you explain why you thought you were right, and everybody goes.
Or you can Cliff Clavin it and just demand that I was right.
That's exactly.
I was right. They're wrong.
They're right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Answer coming. Here's Waiters. That's taken down low. Here you go. Mike Devereaux. Off Jack Armstrong, April 9, 1992. And Mike Flanagan had written that down for me and refused to use it himself. Generous man.
Thanks.
Second base, McDonald makes the play. Wieters is retired. I mean, I'm telling you, you talk about this game of baseball. We were looking at our scorecards here. After giving up 3 runs on 1 hit in the first inning, Morrow got a double play to end the first, and nobody has gotten on since. That's 8 in a row retired.
15 men came to the play with both sides in the first inning?
Explain this game.
You can't.
Here's Reimold. He got a bases-loaded walk at an RBI, and will take the pitch down low for a ball.
So they both came off the ropes in the first round, and like they both knocked each other out in the first, and then both came back strong in the second. Go figure.
That's in there for a strike. Detroit Tigers have already completed their ball game. Their home opener was today, and they got a 5-2 win against the Indians in Detroit. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Reimold fooled by that one. Good pitch. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. That's got some pretty good movement away.
I mean, you can see the stuff. You can see why he has closer stuff, and also adding a couple of pitches might be a pretty good start. I mean, if you race the first inning, he's cruising. Throwing his breaking ball for a strike, fastball, movement, 95, 96.
Another fastball right there that'll miss up high. Again clocked at 96. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count with 1 down.
Cedar Gaston's familiar spot. Pinned in by the phone in the corner.
Hiding.
Oh, yeah.
2-2 delivery. Check swing taken down low. And the count goes to 3-2. Cito, an aggressive manager offensively. He likes his hitters to go up swinging. Look for hits. He is not about the patient game of the Red Sox and Yankees. Here's the 3-2. And I don't mean swing at bad pitches. Another walk taken. Reimold is on with one away. That'll break the streak for Morrow. 4 walks and 4 strikeouts for Morrow in the ballgame. Part of the great crowd on hand here at Camden Yards for the home opener. Orioles will again be playing tomorrow night. David Hernandez and Dana Evelyn, their 7:05 game, and then Sunday afternoon, Kevin Millwood and Sean Markham in the matchup of the 2 aces of the staffs. 135 on Sunday. Markham took a no-hitter into the 7th inning in his first start, and the Jays lost the ball game. Atkins hit into a double play.
We were talking to some of the Blue Jay personnel, and they were bragging about how well the starting pitching is done. You know, as it goes, here goes the first inning and gives up a quick 3.
Yeah, their starters, the first 3 ball games, have pitched more innings than any other major league team. 20 2/3 innings out of the starters. Markham went 7, Talent 6 2/3, and Romero went 7 in their 3 starts against Texas. Garrett Atkins. 1 down, Reimold off first. That one hit in the air to center. He went up to get that base hit. Reimold will stop at second base. Atkins is on. His first hit as an Oriole at home. 2 on, 1 down. Next week, celebrate the first T-shirt Tuesday of the new season. First 10,000 fans, 15 and over, at the game on the 13th against the Rays will get the Matt Wieters Baltimore T-shirt. Tickets start as low as $8. Buy yours in advance. You save when you do. 888-848-BIRD, Orioles.com, and get a Wieters tee for the summer. Or did the summer already come and go?
It was here 2 days ago. You should have been here 2 days ago.
I'm sorry I missed summer. 1 down. Here's his Torres. In at third base, Encarnacion, and popped him up that way. As Torres is retired. 2 down. Nice work by Buck, the catcher, right there. Buck saw his pitcher, Morrow, turning into a spectator and hollered at him and pointed him. Go to third base. That's his job, to cover there. Don't become a spectator. And Buck saw that and got his pitcher over there when Encarnacion had to make the play. That's what catchers do. That's
Take
part
charge,
of their job.
catcher. Yep. I got yelled at by some of the best of them.
Here is Julio Lugo. Lugo is in because Brian Roberts is out. Roberts drew a walk, stole a base, scored in the first inning. But the slide into second and a problem, a muscle pull, so he is out of the ball game. And Lugo has come on to play at second. Lugo last year had 17 starts at second base for the Cardinals, 18 at shortstop, and then played the rest of the season with the Red Sox. And shortstop is where he played when he played for Boston. Lugo is a .271 career hitter. Nothing wrong with that. Last year, good combined numbers, .280, 21 extra base hits, 5 triples for both the Red Sox and the Cardinals. Julio Lugo out of the Dominican Republic, now a member of the Orioles, and all of a sudden in the lineup. 0-2 delivery to him, swung out and missed. So Morrow gets his 5th strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on base. 4-3 Jays.
Deli, now located on Utah Street, or the All-Star Cafe on the park's club level. You can also discover some of Baltimore's most popular watering holes like Pickles Pub, High Tops, Backstage Grill, and the Green Turtle. Also new gluten-free and vegetarian options at Charm City Market behind home plate. So lots to eat here at the ballpark. For people like me, Gary, and Mike who love to eat, we enjoy that.
Yes. Oh, what a shot down the line at third base. Tejada went up and tried to haul that in. Couldn't. Scott has trouble picking it up. Gets it back in, though. And Bautista's got a double. And, I mean, Toronto's really had some shots right on the button here in this ball game.
Well, what's amazing, they really come out swinging, but especially Jose Bautista just jumping on the first pitch. But every inning, they've let off with a bullet. Go back to the first. Bautista had the single. Another single. Start off the second inning. Though it's down and away, still gets the bat head to it. But every inning, they've had the leadoff man on. They've had 2 doubles and a homer leading off innings.
And Bergesen retired 73% of leadoff batters last year. A very good number. And that has been, as Mike says, a real problem in this ball game. So the leadoff man on at second base, Gonzalez, a home run in the third, and has struck out.
Maybe you spend a majority of your time in the windup. Even when you throw in the sidelines between starts, you may spend half of the time in the stretch because you're an optimist. You know, I don't want to be in the stretch my whole life.
Exactly.
But, you know, quickly today, he's just been in that stretch position after the first or second pitch.
That one fouled off hard. Take a look at our Ford drive of the game. Gonzalez in the third inning.
Take a look at the pitch, low middle. It's that backspin, heads it out towards what seems to be a little bit of a jet stream today out to left center field.
Your local Ford dealer invites you to experience Ford like never before. Ford, drive one. Gonzalez did. A 1-ball, 1-strike count. Runner at second base. Pitch is going to be in there from Bergesen for a strike. Bear in mind the Orioles' first 3 games all decided by 1 run. At the start of a season for the Orioles, the most 1-run ball games was back in 1971 to start a year when they had 4. This ball game more and more looks like it may be one of those 2. Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way. Ground ball to short. That's going to hold the runner. This Torres will get the out. Not a good at bat for Gonzalez.
It was actually very effective pitching by Bergesen. Two slow sliders just to get him to get that bat head out and roll over. You could see the intent was to hit it to the right side, but he just took enough off. Watch him slow it down, drags the bat through, and hits that ground ball to short. So it was a very effective pitching against knowing what the hitter's trying to do.
Bergesen has given up just 1 walk, couple of strikeouts. Mark Hendrickson, the tall left-hander in the bullpen now for the Orioles. And that pitch is taken for a strike on the outside corner. 66 pitches thrown in the ball game by Bergesen, and amazing that it is not much higher after the first inning. Adam Lind drew a walk, scored in the first. He is also grounded out. Lynn, he's got a base hit into right field. Do you test Markakis? Butterfield is. Here's the throw to the plate. Wieters there, and not in time. As Bautista reached around on a hip-hop slide right there. And it is a 5-3 lead for the Jays and an RBI for Lynn.
You see Markakis pick it up on the run. Just 1 hop throw, a couple steps up the line. Actually, nice slide by Bautista to go around Wieters.
And that is going to be hit number 8 for the Jays. Now Vernon Wells, and he takes it outside for a ball. Wells has singled and popped out. Well, the Jays putting some runs up on the board now. 5 runs, 8 hits. When they're getting chances, they are scoring. Wells thought about it, holds off, and the count is 2-0.
It's always tough when you're hitting 600 like Vernon Wells. You go 1 for 2 and your average goes down.
Yeah. Red hot. Wieters goes out to the mound now to have a talk with Brad Bergesen. Bergesen has had only 1 inning where he got through it relatively quickly, and that was the second. Tough to do any inning quickly, and as Mike said, you're giving up hits to every leadoff batter. That one fouled away, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Wells. Lifetime against Toronto, Bergesen does have a win in 2 starts. He beat the Jays here in Baltimore on July 12 last year, giving up just a couple of runs in 6 2/3 innings. So his lifetime mark 1-0 against Toronto. 2-1 delivery on the way, and Wells pops that one up. Silo shot in front of the mound. Look out. Atkins. 2 down.
Pretty good pitch. Ties up Wells. It's just a matter who's going to make the play.
And there is Dave Tremblay on his way out. So Brad Bergesen, looks like his day is done as he reaches for the baseball, and Mark Hendrickson's going to come on. So Bergesen makes the start. He will leave without a chance to win the ball game. Could be the loser as Toronto has the 5-3 lead. In any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. The home opener, 2010, and right now the Orioles down by 2. So we go to the bullpen. There are the numbers for Bergesen so far. He is responsible for Adam Lynn, the base runner. He gave up the 1 home run to Gonzalez, and a tough first inning where he gave up 3 runs on 3 hits.
A lot of damage done early on. Pitched pretty well after that. Just couldn't seem to get the first hitter of each inning out. And with that, Mark Hendrickson will come in. He started last year as a starter, ended up in the bullpen, much more effective out of the bullpen. And actually, one of the few pitchers that pitched much better on the road than he did at home. 4-0 was a reliever with a pretty good ERA.
Overbay is 2 for 7 off him with a home run lifetime. Dave Tremblay wanted the matchup, left-hander against left-hander. Overbay, RBI sac fly, and he is flied out. 1 for 12 so far in the new year. Runner at first, towering fly ball, center field. And Jones will put it away. So Hendrickson comes on a couple of pitches and ends the inning. A run in, though. 2 hits, 1 left on. 5-3 Jays.
Backdoor breaking ball to Luke Scott. Pretty good one to get Lugo to expand the strike zone. He's done most of his damage after the first inning. Only allowed a couple of balls out of the infield after the first inning and 4 of his 5 strikeouts. So numbers a little misleading. Struggled in the first, really couldn't find the zone at all, and after that has been pretty good.
Very good. Tonight's game flow brought to you by Mitsubishi. Test drive one today at the Dare to Compare sales event. So Morrow looking to pick up a win in his first start as the number 4 starter for the Jays. Orioles with plenty of time to get back into this. Jones, Markakis, and Tejada will be coming up. Adam waiting as Brooks Robinson was making his way through the crowd here and getting a great hand. Everybody was looking over. Brooksy and Boog Powell here to throw out the first pitch.
Gary Williams also making an appearance.
Yep. And Jones, after the first pitch, goes to second base. McDonald will get it. And Jones has retired on 1 pitch, so 0 for 2 and hit by a pitch, scored a run so far in the ballgame. 1 down, bottom half of the 5th inning.
Well, I really didn't think Moreau would be around after the Orioles really taking pitches. Close to 35, almost 40 in the first inning. And now was just at 73 into the 5th.
Well, Morrow's really settled it in. Ironically, starting the way he did and then doing what he's doing may have been done more to solidify his position as the number 4 starter than just coming out and being consistent.
Yeah, ever since he had that double play ball to end the first inning, he's been on track. I'm not sure what the magic word was after the first inning, either from the pitching coach or he just made a self-evaluation of throw it over. But he has pitched extremely well. A lot of ground balls and a lot of strikeouts.
Markakis, a walk and a strikeout, takes that to left field. Snider back, turned the wrong way again. And that's going to be a base hit. Not only turned the wrong way once, he turned the wrong way twice. And a double for Nick Markakis.
Well, he may be a little bit dizzy. First to the right, then spins around to the left. The ball ends up falling short to the left. Again, I think it's a little bit of a tricky wind out in left center field, See Markakis not sure. Stand-up double.
Nick digging to get it. 2 doubles on the season now, and here's Miguel Tejada. So the Orioles, that's just their 3rd hit. 2 RBI single by Tejada, single by Atkins, and now the double by Markakis are the only hits they have off Morrow. Tejada will take the pitch down low. Buck keeps it in front of him. Markakis will stay at second base. Potential tying run is at the plate now in the person of Miguel Tejada. Tejada, 293 lifetime average against the Jays. Set 29 home runs against them. And obviously a lot of games closing in on 500 career at-bats against Toronto. 1-0 delivery. And he rips it. Way back. Miguel Tejada's back home. Goodbye. Home run tie game.
His last pitch stays on the inside half of the plate. Miggy just opens up, clears the hips, and right on the barrel of the bat. Something he's been terrific at his whole career is getting the barrel to the ball, whether it be in or out. Always seems to hit it squarely.
First home run this season, 286 now in his career, and that ties the ball game up. A 2 RBI homer and a 4 RBI day for Tejada. Up high to Luke Scott, who has struck out twice, so all 4 out of 5 of the runs belong to Tejada, RBI-wise. The other one, Reimold, on a bases-loaded walk. And Miggy happy to be back at Camden Yards, and so are the fans to see him here. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Scott will take this one down low, and a 2-0 count. Well, that'll take Bergesen off the sheet as far as winning or losing this ball game. And the bullpen will be active again. Camp got up very early in the ball game. 2-0 pitch way up high, and the count goes to 3-0 after the homer. Cruising along.
He was given a 3-run lead in the first, right? Now up a couple here in the fifth.
3-0 count. And it's taken. It is in their first strike. 3-1 to Scott.
The velocity has dropped off dramatically for Moreau this inning, down to 91. Yep. There's nothing wrong with 91, but he's been at 95 and 96.
Here's the 3-1 delivery on the way, and Scott will pop that one up. Third base. Handled by Encarnacion for the out. 2 down. O's Magazine, first edition, featuring Kevin Millwood, Michael Gonzalez. It's on sale now, $5 at all program and novelty stands. And the Orioles Kid Magazine is out. The new publication with Q&As and games for young O's fans. Only $3 at all program and novelty stands as well. So check it out. O's Magazine and the Orioles Kids Magazine, now available. Matt Wieters. And Matt will take it down low for a ball. Matt has drawn a walk and grounded out. So far in the ball game, we are tied up. Wieters had a .250 number against Toronto pitching last year and a couple of home runs against the Jays. This one to second base, McDonald. And that will do it in the inning. But the Orioles get 2 runs on 2 hits, leave nobody on. Miguel Tejada, 4 RBI day, 2 of them coming on that swing of the bat.
Catcher, and he said he jumped right in day 1 of spring training. He met with Matt Wieters. He told him what the expectations were on him as far as a catcher, and he said even though Matt, he's noticed, isn't mechanically perfect behind the plate, he does make up for it in intelligence. He said he's way ahead of the curve as far as memorizing American League hitters, knowing how to attack lineups, knowing how to call a game. He said he's very on top of that, and Dave Trimbley reiterated that in his pregame press conference. He said that he's noticed that Matt Wieters isn't looking in the dugout as much for calls as he was last year. So we're seeing that maturation. It looks like Jeff Datz has kind of picked up where Chad Moeller and Greg Zahn, the veteran catchers last year that were mentoring Wieters, left off. Gary?
Amber, exactly right. And that's one of the reasons Dave Trimbley wanted him. It was, as you point out, the fact that he was a catcher. They really wanted to have somebody that would be working with Wieters on a regular basis. And Datz has taken that job over. Here is John Buck, speaking of catchers. He takes the off-speed breaking ball in, 1-2. Wieters, by the way, is playing in his 100th Major League game. So Matt hits one of those marks. There'll be a lot more along the way, hopefully, for Matt Wieters.
3,000 or 4,000 games.
Yeah. Takes the Hendrickson pitch inside. 2-ball, 2-strike count. So the pitcher of record for the Orioles is right there. Bergesen, 5 runs, 8 hits, 4 2/3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. 1 home run. Gonzalez. 2-2 delivery. And Buck will foul it back. The hope is for Toronto that John Buck will stay healthy and be able to give them a full year. With Kansas City last year limited to 186 at bats, fewest games of his career so far. He was on the DL long time, herniated disc. Good pitch. Hendrickson a K.
Look at this slow breaking ball from Mark Hendrickson. Gets Buck out in front. Buck's had a pretty good afternoon with a couple of doubles. Just took enough off.
You watch the back and the torque for someone who's had a herniated disc. And you wonder how they ever come back. Most people don't realize how violent a swing really is in terms of what it does to your body and your muscle and bone structure.
Oh, yeah.
Man. That one hit high in the air by Encarnacion and will go into the seats.
Well, especially when you're a pitcher, you don't throw very hard. You see a lot of hitters go into contortions trying to hit it to the moon against you.
I always thought of all the things in spring training that hitters benefit from, the at-bats where they get the body loosened up and into a flow to take swings, maybe the most important of all.
Absolutely. It is a repetition. The same with pitching. I mean, you can get sore in spring training after 15, 20 pitches. You know, and you build it up that you don't get sore until maybe after 110 if you're a starter. 120.
2 ball, 1 strikeout. Encarnacion is 0 for 2. There's one of those off-speed breaking balls. You see a former NBA front liner out there on the mound and he throws a pitch like that, you're probably already leaning on your front foot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially 6'9", and you see that coming towards you, and it's really one of the advantages that he does have. He has that natural lean into the hitter towards the mound, which many times will take away the power of the hitter.
An amazing differential that Mike was talking about for Hendrickson as a starter and a reliever. It's just like 2 different guys. There seems to be a 2-inning mark, 4 mark in a ball game. He gets 2 solid innings out of the bullpen in consistently, but beyond that runs into trouble.
Well, that would be the second time around, really, as a starting pitcher. And also, when you're a starting pitcher, they're building a lineup against you.
3-2 delivery, and he got the inside corner. Encarnacion was headed to first base. Bring him back.
Look at his last pitch. This little cutter on the inside corner. Pretty good pitch. Well located. It's very fluid. Kind of jumps at you. The arm trails behind.
So he's got 2 strikeouts in the inning. Travis Snider is single, and he is grounded out. Snider 2 for 3 off Hendrickson, and there's that breaking ball. That'll miss that time. Ball 1. Good ball game, tied at 5-5 in the opener here at Camden Yards. 5-8-0 for the Blue Jays, 5-4-0 for the O's. 4 left on base for Baltimore and 3 for Toronto so far. Orioles trying to even their mark at 2-2 in the first week of the season. 2-0 delivery. Snider takes it up high, 3-0. Outfield deep, 3-0 delivery. He's taking all the way, and it is in there for a strike to him, thread 1. Hendrickson and the 3-1, and he walked it. Well, he got a couple of strikeouts, but then surrenders the free pass. Oriole Park is the perfect setting for your next group outing. Gather the family, friends, co-workers, colleagues, and enjoy a ball game and a night out. Ticket options to fit any price range. Party facilities for groups from 12 to 1,000. Oriole Park can be a magic place for you. Check it out. 888-848-BIRD. Number 9 hitter John McDonald. He is hit into a double play and been called out on strikes. Runner at first, 2 down. Showing bunt for a base hit. He's out. Weeders got out of there in a hurry. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left. Orioles back to the Inner Harbor for game 1 at home.
Of Adam Jones's glove. A lot of this action occurring in the first inning of the ball game. Base hit by Tejada. That's Gonzalez going deep to left center field. Miguel Tejada coming back again, counting for 4 of the RBIs this afternoon, 4 of the runs. There's the summary: 5-5 at the bottom of the 6th inning. Bergesen 4 2/3, breaking his consecutive quality start and going at least 6 innings. Tejada home run, big opening day. Buck a couple of doubles for the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's how you get into it for opening day right there. Holy cow. So Sean Camp, 34-year-old right-hander, comes out of the bullpen. Had career highs last year in innings pitched and strikeouts with 58. He went to Robinson High School in Fairfax, Virginia. Joe West has come over to talk to Camp. I don't know what's in Joe West. We told you earlier.
Yeah, he said something about the baseballs.
Yeah. A new baseball. He throws that one out. West had the thing going in the Red Sox-Yankees series.
I agree totally with Cito Gas. And why?
Camp, I don't know what Camp was all concerned whether he was concerned or not.
That's really the home plate umpire's job. But he's going, what about if I wanted to use that baseball?
Rob Drake, the home plate umpire. I think West has a burr in his saddle.
It does seem like it. I spent all inning scuffing that ball up, and now you take it away.
5-5 ball game. Camp's first delivery. Apparently West saw Camp go to his mouth, then go to the ball without wiping his fingers. That's why he wanted the ball changed. That is down low. 1-1. Our ace camera crew caught that one.
Well, I don't know if I've ever heard of that.
Here's the 1-1 delivery, grounded to third base. Encarnacion. Reimold is retired, one away, 6th inning. Unless given permission, you have to get off that pitching slab. If you are going to put your fingers or hand to your mouth, you can't be on the slab when you do it. You can be off, do it, and then you got to wipe the fingers dry on the body, or at least
fake like
you did it. I think.
But I don't know between innings if that's been called before.
I don't understand that. No.
Once the inning starts, I can see.
Well, West didn't want him to have a chance to load it up for the first pitch.
Yeah.
Nuxie would have never have made it. That pitch will miss outside. Atkins a single, and he is hit into a double play. Game has been turned over to the bullpens now. 5-5. Brendan Morrow, 5 runs in the innings that he worked. Hardline drive. Gave up just 4 hits, but that first inning cost him dearly when he gave up 3 runs and a hit. He hit a batter, and he walked 4 in the first inning. All four walks Morrow surrendered came in the first inning. Take that back. He had 5. He gave up 1 in the fourth. So he had 5 walks and 5 strikeouts. Slow chopper. This is going to be a problem. Base hit. Throw was into the runner. Actually, had the ball been caught by Overbay, and I'm not saying he should have, but had he been able to do it, he might have had an out.
I thought it was a hit for sure when it hugs that line. And for a right-hander, very difficult play. Momentum heading towards the third base dugout. Pretty good bare hand play.
Reimold is not 100%. He does not run as well as he can when he's healthy. That heel still bothering him. It's the reason that he's in and out of the lineup and not starting, or Atkinson. Reimold's having the problem with that heel. When he tries to run, Atkins is not particularly fast. You got him back-to-back in the lineup, and in that, it's another one of those base clogging situations that the Orioles have in trying to take extra bases, which they would like to do, but you can't. And you have guys who aren't particularly fast. Cesar Torres 0 for 2 in the ball game. Runner on at first base, 1 down. They all matter now in the 6th inning of a 5-5 game. Potential go-ahead run. And that will just miss outside from Camp. 1-1. Encarnacion is playing in at third base, trying to take the bunt away. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to be taken inside, and the count goes 2-1.
Camp, one of those rubber arm relievers. About half of his relief appearances were multiple innings. Managers really like to have those kind of guys on their staff.
Set up outside, runner goes, ground ball right to the shortstop who was moving to cover the bag. So defensively that was perfectly placed as Gonzalez got it and had an easy 2, only 3 up with 1 hit and nobody left on. Game tied. Ticket offers, and you can go to twitter.com/BirdlandInsider. You'll be the first to learn the behind-the-scenes information straight from the team's communications department. All the Birdland news you need is just a click away.
That was good.
This is Lawrence Welk. We brought him back for that. Great to have you on board as the Orioles in front of what looks like a sellout crowd here today. Sun in and out, 55 degrees when we started. Good ball game, 5-5, 7th inning. First 4 games have looked very much alike as far as the run differentials. There hasn't been any.
Ought to be used to playing in close games.
Yeah.
At this rate.
All right, Hendrickson on to work his 2nd full inning. He has faced 5 batters. Strike taken on the outside corner. Bautista 2 for 3. Double, single, and scored. 2 runs. Overbay's got an RBI. John Buck's got a couple. Gonzalez an RBI homer. And Lind an RBI single. Second base, Lugo. Orioles bullpen will be active again. Clay Meredith. As we said, for Mark Hendrickson, it'll be generally 2 innings or less when he comes out of the bullpen. He did work as many as 5 1/3 innings out of the bullpen on one occasion. That's his longest relief outing. Alex Gonzalez got his homer in the 3rd. He has struck out and grounded out his other at-bats. And an 0-1 count.
Shadows taking a little bit of an effect. Happens at Camden Yards, certainly in April and late September, October-ish.
Gonzalez 4 for 11 lifetime off the Oriole left-hander. Batting second in the order. Lynn waiting on deck. 0-2 delivery to him. That'll be away. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. One, two. That's going to be foul back. Souvenir back into the sun side of Camden Yards.
Hendrickson really tries to rock them to sleep with slow stuff early in the at-bats, and then he'll try to sneak that fastball by, at least get you to be late. It's been a pretty effective formula for him.
Ahead on the count here, 1-2. And Gonzalez pops it up. Lugo, busy day at second after coming in for Roberts. 2 down in the 7th inning. Opening day 2010 at home for the O's against Toronto. Camden Yards the site. A very nice day. For Mike Flanagan and Theo Harris, I'm Gary Thorne. Thank you for joining us as the Orioles look forward to this 2010 season and trying to get off with a good start here at home with a victory against the Jays. Pitch is going to be taken inside for a ball. The Orioles are 37-19 all time in home openers. 13-5 here at Camden Yards. 1-0 pitch. Came back, busted him inside with that one, and gets a 1-1 count. His 87-mile-an-hour fastball looks a whole lot faster because of what you were talking about.
Exactly. By throwing that slow curveball, the hitter starts saying, I got to stay back, I got to wait, and as soon as they do that, they try to slip that fastball by him.
Off the end of the bat, no play on that one, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Doc Holliday, of course, is gone for Toronto, and the Orioles, no team is happier than the Orioles because Holliday was 20-4 lifetime against the O's. I mean, he has great numbers against a lot of teams, but none quite like that.
No, pretty impressive.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way, and that is a strike 3 call. Good work by Mark Hendrickson. 3 strikeouts, his day probably done. 7th inning stretch time, ball game 5-5. yards between first and third, and the work was slowed down by the mountains of snow that came to Baltimore. So that work is still going on as far as installing those seats. You can't do a lot of seat installation when you're going through snow drifts. Man.
Custom seating in an igloo.
Yes. Did you shovel a lot here?
You kidding?
Yeah.
I was buried. There was no chance to go. It was high as the fence posts.
It's amazing.
It was unbelievable. And I grew up in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Anybody who had a truck that you could put a plow on the front of it retired.
Yeah, trucks didn't even work. There was no place to put it.
Well, no snow today. Really a pretty day, 55 degrees at game time, as we said. The sun's been in and out, and a real fine ball game underway before this big house. Bullpen game with the two starters out of there, Bergesen and Morrow. Orioles will have the top of the order, Lugo, Jones, and Markakis coming up against Rick Camp, who will work his second inning. He faced only 3 batters in the first. A ball game and new teeth on the way.
There you go.
It's a good life. Bottom half of the 7th, Lugo stands in. Lugo has struck out twice. And the 2 at-bats he has had. Bullpens will be active for both teams. Andy McPhail looking on. Lugo may prove to be an even more important acquisition early on than Andy thought. Depending on Brian Roberts' condition after the attempted steal when he went out apparently with a muscle pull. And we'll have to wait till after the ball game to see what his condition is and his status for the games upcoming. Robert Andino, player who ended up being taken off the ball club, didn't make it. Lugo's entrance. See those shadows Mike was talking about. Outside, 2-1.
It makes it very difficult on the hitter because the ball would be coming out of the sunlight and be bright. And by the time it gets close to the plate, you lose it in a dark spot.
Lugo, that one over the top of it, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Julio Lugo. Jones and Markakis are due up. The Orioles 17 and 22 in 1-run ball games last year had 44% of their games decided by 1 or 2 runs last season, and they went 29 and 43 in those ball games decided by 1 or 2 runs. You get those things turned around, obviously, and you have an entirely different look on that record. And that's what Dave Tremblay is hoping for here. The Orioles have started out with 4 very tight games. Evan Millwood, the starter, had an outstanding outing. First start, he wants to get that pitch count down, stay in longer. But he really looked like he's going to be effective. 2-2 delivery on the way, and Lugo will take it outside. 3-2.
I guess you'd like to think that those 1-run games were all 2-1 or 3-2, but unfortunately some of them are 12-11.
If the offense can hang in and the pitching gets just that much better. 3-2 delivery, Lugo. He'll stay alive as he chops that one foul. And it will stay at 3-2.
Take today's game, for example. I didn't think either starter was going to make it to the 2nd or 3rd inning.
Both pitchers battling in the first to get it settled in. 3-2 count on Lugo. Wind still blowing out towards left field briskly. And Lugo goes that way with a foul ball. Talking to pitchers in spring training, not only Oriole pitchers but other teams as well, about the whole idea of starters, Mike, and how deep do you go into a ball game. You get 2 different readings depending on who you talk to. There are some pitchers who say, look, the nature of this business now is I go 6. Other guys are getting paid to do other parts of the game. Let them do their work. Rounded down to 3rd foul. One pitcher said to me it's about spreading the wealth, and he wasn't being, facetious about it. He said there are jobs now. And then you get other pitchers, I'm sure like yourself, it's like I go out there with a task I want to finish. And you get both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, you certainly do today. You know, 6 innings or 100 pitches or what. I mean, I've had, when I was a pitching coach, had a pretty prominent pitcher tell me that. You know, it's 6 innings or 100 pitches, whatever comes first. I think they look for today, I guess, with maybe some of the dollars that are at stake long term, but trying to preserve the career for as long as they can. And really, wins and losses are not their barometer.
Well, you've seen that on the other side of it, front office, when you're negotiating deals. You've got all these, the holds, the whole new concept of a hold being an official stat, and agents arguing that's my guy's job.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Another teammate saying, hey, that is his job. Give him a chance to do it.
Yeah, but I still think it should be certainly off the pitch count. I know one year I had Mike Messina here in the mid-90s.
Lugo to short.
And I think what the pitcher for today don't really understand is how to cruise with a lead. You know, how to get through, to throw an easy 120 pitches in one of the years, and it was a strike-shortened year. Messina won 19 games, and he learned to cruise through the 6th, 7th, and 8th, but later on in his career he went back to 6 innings, 100 pitches, and whatever came first.
Interesting discussions, pitching-wise, this day and age, and it largely depends, fan-wise, on how old you are, what you grew up with. Strike taken on the outside corner. Jones hit by a pitch scored, has struck out, and grounded out.
I can also remember one time we was going to be pitching coach with Messina, and he always kept track of his pitches. I said, when you go to the mound, he's going to ask you. When you ask him how he feels, he's going to say, how many do I have?
0-1 delivery outside, but he won a round.
So I was ready for him. So he had thrown, I counted all those warm-up pitches. He had thrown 60 there. It was a 6th inning. He had thrown 48 between innings, and he had thrown 100 in the game. So when I got to the mound, and I said, how do you feel? He said, how many do I have? I said, you have 247. How do you feel now? And he never asked me again.
Here's the 1-1 delivery down the first base side. That's a foul ball. I know Leo Mazzoni with one particular Atlanta pitcher. The same kind of thing. Leo would go out and just lie to him.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, many times the next day's starting pitcher used to keep track of the pitch count. Earl would always yell, how many does he have? Well, you know, if you like the guy that was on the mound, he was throwing well. But McGregor was throwing well. I won't count those 5. He's throwing too well. And conversely, if somebody was struggling, I'd go, 97, Earl, 97.
0-2 count on Jones, struggling to find Camp here, and the pitch is outside. And an 0-2 count. Adam trying to get on in, give the Orioles a shot, getting that go-ahead run in. 3 in the first and 2 in the 5th. Miguel Tejada, 4 RBIs. Reimold won with the bases loaded, and Jones just could not get comfortable against Sean Camp. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates in this one. Miguel Tejada, 2 hits and 4 RBIs, including a home run in the ballgame. Hendrickson with a solid 2 1/3 innings of relief work. And on the other side, John Buck, the catcher. Buck has delivered with 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. Text in your vote, A, B, or C, 51862. Two down, bases are empty here in the 7th inning. Nick Markakis doubled, scored, walked, and scored. And he is grounded out. Markakis sees the Camp delivery that is in there for a strike. Ball game 5-5, and Markakis trying to undo that, misses on an 0-2 count. Hitters seem to have a hard time lining up Camp. There are a lot of bad swings to Camp's credit.
Yeah, I mean, he's improved. He had some problems a couple of years back trying to get left-handers out. You can see that low 3/4 sidearm delivery. He's added some fade to his pitches. See, when we talk about Henderson, Camp kind of does the same thing. He kind of jumps at the hitter to get him out on that front foot.
Markakis 0 for 5 off Camp the times he's faced him. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Nick. Miguel Tejada hoping for an at-bat. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and that's fouled away. Well, we told you it looked like a sellout. Indeed it is. 48,891 the announced attendance. Not only a sellout, but a new opening day record for the Orioles. 48,891. Now the O's fans out and watching in record numbers. 1-2 delivery outside. 2-2 count. And a lot to be hopeful for. The Orioles, as we talked about in spring training, a very tough opening month. They've got Tampa Bay coming in here for 3. And then they've got the big West Coast trip, Oakland, Seattle, Boston, all in one road trip. And then they have New York and Boston and New York again. There are 16 consecutive games that will be coming up. Boston and New York. A lot of division games. I mean, very tough.
One school of thought is that you play the good teams early on in the year, though. You used to like to play the teams that were out of it late because they knew they were out of it.
Take a look at our Mitsubishi game flow. Miguel Tejada. 2 RBI base hit they got in the first inning, and then a 2 RBI homer, his first of the year, that came in the 5th. Tonight's game flow brought to you by Mitsubishi. Test drive one today at the Dare to Compare sales event. Well, the walk to Markakis gives him the at-bat. And Tejada will take the pitch from Camp for a strike. Tejada's 3 for 5, lifetime off Camp. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him. Fouled off. Led the league in doubles, the National League, 46 last year. He was second in multi-hit games, second in hits with 199. Interestingly, last year for Tejada, he was the toughest batter to fan in the National League.
That surprise you?
A little bit. That one got fisted, but he bloops it to center. Markakis, a big jump. He'll head over to third. Ball bobbled by Wells, but he gets it back in. And Tejada's got his third hit of the ball game. 3 for 4. Markakis to third.
Back up slider right in on Miggy's hands. So he can just pull it in and just flip it out in the center field. That's why he's so hard to strike out. He really does just make contact. Many of his at-bats don't run after any more than 2 or 3 pitches. It also makes him tough to defend.
2 on and 2 down. The other part of that, Mike, was while he was the toughest batter to fan in the National League, he was the second toughest to walk.
I think it goes hand in hand with what we just said.
How about that?
You don't get to pitch 3. It's over.
It's amazing.
But today you get to the first pitch the first time up. I'm not sure in the home run what pitch in the sequence it was.
Here's Luke Scott. Chance to give the Orioles the lead. He's had a tough day at the plate. 2 strikeouts and he has popped out. Camp now with 2 on and 2 down. Luke Scott has faced Camp only a couple of times, 0 for 2. And Luke rolls that one on a turnover to McDonald. And that will do it as Camp works his way out of it. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base, 7 complete, 5-5 game. Athletics had a chance to get that lead, couldn't do it. With Mike Flanagan, I'm Gary Thorne back here. It's about grinding out in baseball, Mike, and the first 4 games of the Orioles have been just that.
Absolutely. There's one pitch that can make a difference. Seems like in every game they play, and then today is more of the same after somewhat of a slow start today. Both sides settling in, pretty even ball game.
And it is what you have to learn in order to be a winning ball club, isn't it? How to do this for 6 months.
That's right. And the importance of a single out. Everything matters. Every walk counts. Every base hit counts. Every extra base counts.
So the Orioles with a chance to win this one, and maybe it will be a 4 one-run ball games in a row. We'll see. Now they got to go to the bullpen a little bit deeper here, and good job by Mark Hendrickson, 2 1/3. He gave up a walk, 3 strikeouts, didn't allow anything. Jim Johnson, setup man for the Orioles, comes on to pitch.
And Jimmy Johnson with that outstanding sinker. You see last year, 64 games, 70 innings pitched. Power arm.
Dangerous Vernon Wells. And Wells takes it down low for a ball. Wells has singled and scored first inning. He has also popped out twice. Wells 1 for 4 off Johnson. But this is the kind of pitcher that Wells can hit the long ball off because he's a good fastball hitter. 2-0 count. Vernon Wells takes a strike on the outside corner. 7 for 13 now for Wells. 4 homers, 7 RBIs. 2-1 delivery. Foul ball. Cheese hitting the ball hard.
You can see, sometimes the foul balls will tell you what kind of bat speed he has at the moment. Very short stroke, and we talked about the wrist surgery in the offseason. Closed up his stance a little bit. Very disappointing season last year. The Toronto Blue Jays.
Fans were really on him last year. Cito Gaston wants him to be a leader of this ball club now. Wants Wells to take responsibility. 2-2 delivery on the way, and a good pitch down and away to get him.
Outstanding power sinker. Bottom just falls out of it at 91. You can see Wells missed that ball by a good foot.
No matter how hot you are, you're not going to hit that one. Lyle Overbay, RBI sac fly, and he has flied out twice since. Left field. Playable. Scott. 2 down. Visit the official online shop of the Orioles at Orioles.com. You can browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, O's memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source at Orioles.com shop. Jim Johnson comes on, gets the first 2 outs. Question whether or not he was going to be available for a couple of ball games with the arm, a little tightness in it, but he said no problem, I'm fine. Here he is. Here's John Buck. Helicopter swing right there. Walt Reniak look and an 0-1 count.
Pretty good breaking ball too. Jimmy Johnson with good stuff.
Jim really working in a hurry here, taking very little time between pitches. Here's the 0-1 delivery. That is outside for a ball to Buck. 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. He has also struck out. Buck now 3 for 11 in the early going with a couple of runs batted in. Here's the 1-1 delivery to him, and another one of those cuts, and the same result. Scott Downs, bullpen work. Buck is 2 for 5. Lifetime off Jim Johnson. Here's the 1-2. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Bergesen, 5 runs, 8 hits, 4 2/3. Hendrickson 2 1/3, nothing. Now Johnson. Brendan Morrow, 5 runs, 4 hits over 5. The starter for the Jays. Sean Camp on in relief. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Really would like to get Buck for a couple of reasons. You'd like to leave those last 3 in the order for that next inning.
That's right.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, and he did. Came inside on him. Johnson with a solid 8. 1-2-3. Wieters. Reimold. Atkins. Coming up. Followed by game coverage at 7. All the access you need right here on Massive. It'll be the 20th Major League start, all with the Orioles. 4 Hernandez who are in that spot, number 5 in the rotation. 5-5 ball game, bottom half of the 8th inning. And Casey Janssen will come on to do the pitching. Sean Kemp, good job in relief, working a couple innings, couple of hits.
You can see Johnson's numbers last year, 40 innings pitched. Had been a starter when he first came up to the big leagues. Last year's couple of years he's bounced around, making his way back through the minor leagues. Been disabled list a number of times, but finally making it back and now pitching out of the bullpen pretty successfully for them.
Matt Wieters leads it off against him. Matt has grounded out twice and drawn a walk. And will take the pitch down low for a ball. So this one up for grabs late. 6 for 14 on the year for Wieters. Fastball misses. Wieters gets ahead on the count, 2-0. Wieters getting his first look at the right-hander. 2-0 delivery to it, and that's down low, and the count goes to 3-0. Jansen pounds on his glove. Not happy starting Wieters out 3-0. He doesn't want anybody on, much less the leadoff batter in this inning, in this tie ball game. 3-0, taking all the way, and that wasn't close. All right, you manage this one now, folks. What would you do in the 8th inning, tie ball game? You got Reimold coming up, then Atkins and his tourist, bottom part of the order. Wieters on at first base. PA will run for him, so you got speed out there.
Well, it certainly does give Dave Tremblay some options now with PA on, with good speed at first.
Reimold looking down the third to Juan Samuel as he stands in, getting the signs here. Gonzalez, the closer. Clay Meredith, who's been up before, both now up in the bullpen.
One really up for if the game is tied, and one is up to have the lead.
Trying to get a read on that. Throw to first base. Reimold again looking to Samuel. So is PA. Making sure they know what's on here. A long stare by Reimold. Encarnacion is going to play bunt. He's a step in at third base. PA dives back in safely.
All they're trying to do is to see if Reimold will slide his hand at the bat at all and tip off what maybe the Orioles' attention is.
PA steps off a decent lead over there. Reimold doesn't show anything, takes a pitch. It is in there for a strike.
I really don't think he'll be bunting. Reimold handles the bat pretty well. Able to hit the right field.
Reimold has never had a sacrifice in his pro career.
That may be another reason why he may not bunt.
Here's the 0-1 delivery to him, hit in the air to right field. Bautista. And there's one of the reasons why you might want to learn how. One down.
True. Can't argue that point. I'm sure Reimold's gone for the minor leagues, hitting third or fourth in the lineup every day, and needed to drive in runs at that level.
Yep.
I can remember Lee May when he came up with the Orioles, and Earl asked him to lay down the bunt. One of those years late in the year, had to step out and ask, "What is that sign? I know it's something I haven't seen for 14 years."
And don't want to, probably.
But you know what? Got the bunt down.
Yeah.
And we gave him a standing O in the dugout.
Hot dog wrapper pickup time for Jansen. Casey asked the second base umpire to take it. Angel Hernandez had put it in your pocket.
I'm sure Joe West wanted to check it.
I think he put it underneath the rosin bag.
Could probably get a pretty good pile.
Look at Angel.
He's good at it.
Yeah, he put it underneath the rosin bag, that wrapper.
A little trash can behind the mound.
Garrett Atkins, 2 singles, and he has hit into a double play. PA's on at first base, 1 away. Tie ball game, 8th inning. And the pitch is going to be inside to him, and again, Jansen falls behind on the count as it goes to 2-0. Lots of signs being given, everybody looking to Samuel. And you get to manage right along with Dave Tremblay and Cito Gaston. 2-0 count. That one hit in the air to center. Wells. And there are 2 down.
The delivery of Casey Jansen, long strider. Way out over that front foot. There's a lot of strain on that shoulder. He's been prone to shoulder injuries throughout his career.
Let's see why. So it'll leave it up to his tourist. The Orioles got the leadoff walk with Wieters, PA running for him. Back to the bag he goes. The 2 fly ball outs, and Jansen's got a chance to get out of this as Torres 0 for 3 in this game. 2 for 9 on the year. And he will take that pitch for a strike. Top of the order, Lugo waiting on deck. We're in the bottom half of the 8th inning. It's cooled off considerably. I would think we're in the 47, 48 degree range maybe, and feels colder with the wind blowing.
Shadows have disappeared.
Gone with the clouds and a descending sun. Here's the 0-1 pitch. In the air to the gap in right center field. PA, you got it? He's coming to third. Samuel's going to wave him home. Wells gets it into the relay man. Here's the throw to back of the plate. He can't get the ball. And the Orioles have a 6-5 lead.
See the pitch down and low out over the middle of the plate. Vernon Wells gets it in quickly. With a little surprise, you'll watch John McDonald kind of look up to see what PA is doing. And in doing so, cost him a couple of steps with PA, and he's able to go around John Buck at the plate. So blocked off pretty well, gets the right hand in, but I think McDonald was really caught, checking to see what PA was going to do. I think it surprised him.
So as Torres gets the RBI, and the Orioles get a 6-5 lead. And as Torres went down to second base on the throw. So as Torres, the number 9 hitter, says to the other guys above him in the lineup, here's how you get it done. Dave Tremblay with PA, the pinch runner who came around to score. And there was no question Juan Samuel never even hesitated. With PA rounded second, Samuel had the windmill turning and was sending him home. And that is taken for a strike. 0-2. The element of surprise may have mattered there too, because McDonald, as Mike said, took that extra look and may not have thought they would send PA, and in doing so caught McDonald a little flat-footed.
Well, after all, it's a fly ball to center field. It's not like it was down the right field line.
Julio Lugo trying for an RBI now. The pitch is outside. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Lugo 0 for 3 in the ball game. Orioles on top in another 1-run game. As Torres getting his first RBI of the year, maybe a game winner. With PA coming around to score. Give Wieters credit for drawing the leadoff walk. And PA in to run for him. Lugo 1-2. As Torres a good lead at second. They're not trying to hold him here with 2 down. And Lugo slow roller. That's going to be trouble. Buck guns it and got him. Good play by Buck on a very close play at first. The Orioles in the bottom of the 8th pick up the go-ahead run as PA pinch running gets around John Buck. Got a little chin music in doing so. And a chance to pick up a save in the ball game. 6-5, his 3rd appearance. He can give you heart palpitations if you're the manager. Craig Tatum has come on to do the catching. Top of the 9th inning. Gets the ball popped up outside of first and out of play. Encarnacion, Travis Snider, and John McDonald are the due-ups, bottom 3rd of the order. Jim Johnson, who pitched a solid inning with 2 strikeouts, could be the winner in this game. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Over the top, that will miss, and a 1 ball, 1 strike count.
A lot of motion from Gonzalez, a side to side beginning, and kind of a peel-off finish.
This is inside with a 2 ball, 1 strike count.
Just makes it hard to repeat your delivery. And I can tell some of the fans the last few nights have been on the roller coaster ride with Gonzalez.
There goes the bat into the seats. Everybody's all right. That fan actually caught the bat. Came to him sideways. 2-2.
Top hand just come flying off. No harm, no foul.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Dave Tremblay will hope. Cito Gaston looking for base runners. Gonzalez in an inning and a third, 2 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, 1 intentional, 3 strikeouts. 2-2 delivery on the way. Just missed inside. He wanted that call, didn't get it. 3-2. 10 saves last year with Atlanta.
Big sweeping breaking ball.
3-2. Not what he wanted. He has walked the leadoff batter. The potential tying run now at first base here in the 9th inning. Travis Snider, a single, a walk, and he is grounded out.
So quickly in the stretch, not exactly what he wanted with a 1-run lead.
Now he's going to really have to earn it. Snider with outstanding power. He's just all over the place here in the appearances. Tatum's going to go out to talk to him.
Anytime you have a side-to-side delivery, you sort of swing into the delivery and swing out, the fastball is going to be up and away to a right-hander, and your breaking ball is going to be down and in to a right-hander.
Had a career high 80 appearances last year. Opponents hit only 142 off him. But the problems with these base runners he puts on. In the dirt, gets away from Tatum, and the runner will advance. And that puts the potential tying run down at second base and some upset Oriole fans. And Rick Kranitz, the pitching coach, is on his way out.
Not wanting it to get out of hand, quick visit, but as I said, when you swing in and swing out, if you hold on to it too long, it's going to be a breaking ball away in the dirt to a left-hander or up and into a left-hander.
Kranitz trying to settle him down a little bit as the count's gone to 2-0 on Snider with John McDonald due up next. Ruiz, though, has got a bat in the dugout. We'll probably see a pinch hitter in the number 9 spot. 2-0 delivery on the way, and that's going to be a base hit in the center, and this game's tied all the way to the wall. Encarnacion will come around to score. It is an RBI double for Travis Snider, and the game's tied at 6. So, another blown save.
Well, with that type of delivery, again, side to side, you're going to throw one down and away, up and away, and then when you finally do stay on top, it really is right down the middle of the plate. 2-0 count. And Travis Snider right on it, drives it into the alley.
So the Orioles run that put them ahead in the 8th inning has been equaled here. Now there's still nobody out. A chance for Toronto to get a lead. Miguel Tejada going through the instructions in the infield with a runner at second base and nobody out. John McDonald now will stay in with Hill unavailable with a right hamstring problem. At second base, they want him in. Bunted. Foul. McDonald trying to move that runner over to third base. Gonzalez last year 10 saves and 17 chances. Zay Meredith's back up, and if this doesn't get corrected soon, his closer situation is going to be in jeopardy. The Orioles are playing too good a baseball, grinding out some games here to not get these 3 outs. Here's the 0-1 delivery, takes it outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, we think even in the short term that the other ball clubs would just be going to the take attack. Try to work yourself into a good count.
1-1 delivery in the way. McDonald squares again, does bunt it. Only plays at first. Atkins gets the flip. Wait a minute. That may have hit the batter out of the batter's box.
I think it went off the front leg, left leg of McDonald as he was bunting it, but nice decoy on his part. I think it rolls right down his leg.
He was in the box, so it's just a foul ball.
Right off his toe.
So McDonald will come back with a 1-ball, 2-strike count now. He's still looking down to see if Cito Gaston wants him to bunt. Gonzalez had Tommy John surgery in 08. Missing half a year that season, coming back last year. 1-2 delivery, and he does square. The ball bounced up into Tatum's glove. That was a one-hopper. 2-2.
I don't know how he caught it. But the pitch before, McDonald actually should have taken that too. That was high, and now again the over-adjustment.
Wow.
And that, I don't know how far up the, have to check that for grass stains.
2-2 delivery in the way, and he does. Bunted with 2 strikes and gets a good one down. Again, the play to Lugo from Atkins to get the out, but it moves the runner over. The potential go-ahead now is on at third base with only 1 away. Let's update you on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. Right now, Miguel Tejada well out in front. You can still text in your vote, A, B, or C, at 51862. Results on the O's Extra post-game show. Stalling for time now, Meredith in the pen. Everybody gathers at the mound. Meredith's been up a couple of times, so you got to believe he's ready. Jose Bautista, the infield's going to play in. The Orioles will try and cut this run off here in the top of the 9th inning of a 6-6 game. Bautista's hit the ball hard today. He's doubled, singled, lined out, and popped out. He's just trying to get it through the infield or get it in the air and get that run in. Strike one. Fans with a mock cheer for Gonzalez.
Well, the thing is, what works in Gonzalez's favor here is that Bautista really is a free swinger.
Three for 15 on the year so far. Fouls it away. 0-2.
He's not the type of hitter that works the count. We've seen him hit a number of first pitches this afternoon.
If you ever wanted a K, Mike, this is one of those times. Infield stays in. Bautista takes it. Tatum blocks it. Tatum was kept on the roster as the backup catcher because of his abilities behind the plate. He's having to use them all.
We know he can block balls in the dirt. Let's put it that way.
And catch long hoppers. Matt Wieters out of there for a pinch runner. PA who scored what was the go-ahead run. 1-2 delivery. That's going to get a run in. Adam Jones has it. He'll make the long throw, but there's no chance. So a sacrifice fly. Bautista gets it done, and it's a 7-6 Toronto lead. It's just good, effective situational hitting right there. Travis Snider scores after delivering the RBI, and that's going to be it for Gonzalez. Boy, it's a tough way to be welcomed to your new home ballpark, not only by the opposing team, but by the fans who are really on it. Just having to clear the field of an intruder. That's the reason for the delay. Boy, this has been a seesaw ball game. 3 runs in the first for the Jays. Same for the Orioles to tie it. Jays went ahead in the third with a run. Picked up another one in the fifth. Tejada tied it up 2 RBIs. 5-5. Orioles got their first lead of the game in the last half inning. And here in the ninth could not put Toronto away. So it's 7-6 now with the Jays on top, 2 in.
Well, Meredith just on to try to get through this and give yourself another chance at it.
Unfortunately, there's not a close gate to get the idiot off the field, so we're having to wait while they're walking around here. You don't show those things on TV anymore with the hope that in not doing so, you maybe lessen reasons to go out. See you in court.
Absolutely.
Clay Meredith warms up. Fans may have noticed when he comes out. He takes about 3 tosses in front of the mound on the grass to start his warm-ups before he goes to the mound to throw the remaining warm-up pitches. I've never asked him why.
Yeah, I'll have to find out. But he, throws them down underneath, and maybe that has something to do with it. Gives them a release point to move up on the mound. Still a little delay.
Two down, 2 runs in. Bases are now empty. And Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a home run. His second came in the 3rd inning. He is 1 for 4. Struck out, grounded out, and popped out. 7 runs, 9 hits on the board now for the Jays. 6 runs, 7 hits for the O's. So the Orioles are going to have to try and keep this game alive or win it in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Meredith gets it in there for a strike.
Gonzalez 0 for 2 lifetime versus Clay Meredith.
Sun back out. There's center field and right. That's going to miss outside. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. You see the sunshine. Adam Jones on that last fly ball by Bautista was looking up into the sun. 1-2 delivery to him. Good pitch, got him. The Oriole fans, if you ask them who should be the closer right now, you know what they'd say.
How this game has turned. Mike Gonzalez, Rick, a 3rd save opportunity on the year, and his 2nd blown save. The struggles continue.
Right now he looks a little bit shaky right there, but like I always say, nothing good ever happens after a walk, and you can't come in his situation and walk the first batter that you faced. He's had it pretty easy so far. He's had the 7, 8, 9 batters in all 3 of his outings, and he still hasn't gotten 3 saves.
Back to the booth, Gary and Mike.
All right, Jim, thanks very much. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. Well, here's another interesting aspect of this game. The closer is not available today for the Jays. Jason Frazier converted a couple of saves, but he appeared in all 3 games against Texas. So Kevin Gregg knew today that if it was a save situation, he would be called on to do it, and here he is.
Well, and he has saved games before. He had 29 2 years ago with Florida in the National League. Also had 32 1 year, and that back in 07. In 09 with the Cubs, he had 23 saves, so he certainly is qualified.
He had 23 out of 30 last year for Chicago. Well, he's on now with a chance for a save, and the Orioles in the bottom of the 9th inning will try and get to him. They've got the middle of the order: Jones, Markakis, and Miguel Tejada. Down a run. Outside for a ball. Another game like the first 3 where it is simply a 1-run separation. Gregg with a 1-0 delivery over the top. That'll be fouled off in a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Jones has struck out twice, grounded out, hit by a pitch, and scored in the first inning. Miguel Tejadas had the 4 RBI day to lead the Orioles. Reimold is Torres picking up the other RBIs. A real up and down ball game. Casey Janssen, who gave up what was the go-ahead run, now has got a chance to be the winning pitcher. Here's the 1-1 delivery. Jones will take it outside, and it goes to 2-1. These 2 teams will be right back here tomorrow night. 7 o'clock game. David Hernandez and Dana Evelyn, the scheduled starters in game 2 of the 3-game series. 2-1 delivery. 2-2.
Pretty good late breaking slider from Gregg. Really basically sinker slider.
This will be another heartbreaker if the Orioles can't come back, having battled back to get a lead for the first time in the ballgame late. Right center field. Bautista under it, and he's got it. Jones is retired, 1 away in the 9th inning. That'll bring up Nick Markakis. Nick has scored twice, once on a walk, once on a double. He's had 2 walks in the ball game, officially 1 for 2 at the plate for Markakis. Kevin Gregg, 31 years old. Pro career goes back to 96. And the pitch is in there for a strike. Started his career as a starter. Turned into a bullpen man, and then over the last 3 seasons as a closer. Strike on the outside corner. So Gregg 0-2. Markakis turning to Rob Drake, the home plate umpire. Thought that one may have been away, but does not get the call. Oh-2 delivery, and that is outside. Ball, 2 strikes. Orioles came into the ball game having left 25 on in the first 3 games. They've added 7 more to that so far in this ball game. They have, however, picked up some key hits with runners in scoring position. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Markakis got jammed, fouls it off. Orioles are 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this ball game. So 8 for 40 on the year.
Is that good?
No.
Okay.
1-2. Just kept it alive off the end of the bat. Ball game that started after hours did. They're in the 7th inning in Colorado. Here's the 1-2 delivery, and just missed down low in a 2-ball, 2-strike count. 2-2 to Markakis, and Nick fights it off. Tough at bat called for here as Kevin Gregg's throwing the pitches he wants right now.
Well, that was 92 on the black. Too close to take. Good job by Markakis to flick it away.
We're in the bottom of the ninth inning of this home opener. 2-2. And Nick is gone. So Gregg gets the strikeout, and there are 2 away in the ninth. Oh, Miguel Tejada's being called on again. Came up in the first inning, bases loaded, and got 2 RBIs with a single. Came up with the Orioles down by 2 in the 5th inning. Runner on, got a home run.
They swinging it effectively this afternoon. Up the middle base hit, and maybe into the left field seats.
Strike on the outside corner. Three-hit ball game for Miguel Tejada. The 0-1 delivery by Gregg to him. Swung out and missed. Gregg right now looks overpowering here. 0-2.
Yeah, short slider. He's been pretty good command of his fastball. Both sides of the plate.
If the Orioles lose this by a run, if it's a one-run ball game either way, this is going to be the longest streak of one-run games at the beginning they've had. Did he go? They check it first. No. 1-2. Back in '71, the Orioles started the season going 3-1 in 4 one-run ball games. If this game stays the way it is, they will start the year 1-3 in 4 one-run ball games. Tejada's gone, and this ball game is in the books. A 1-2-3 inning for Kevin Gregg, and in game 1 of this 3-game set, 2 runs in the top of the 9th inning give the Blue Jays a 7-6 win. Join us again tomorrow. More action. Game 2. David Hernandez against the Blue Jays. Dana Eveland. Our coverage on MASN HD will begin at 6:30. O's Extra presented by Ford, followed by game coverage at 7. From Mike Flanagan, Amber Theo Harrison, all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks, everybody. This has been a MASN presentation. Toronto gets the win. Gonzalez will take the loss. How it all came about. O's Extra. Jim and Rick standing by. Adieu.